is what I'm wearing all black for. For comrades who don't fought without me, it's not to try and change our thoughts about me or to redirect your reports about me. Dear white people, you should take a course about me, cause is it the long four-finger ring, the sciences of the arts, the songs we can sing? I really wanna know why y'all so scared. Probably cause the promised land we almost scared. But look, I think of images that fuel my youth. Interviews by Craig Hodges and Abdul Rauf. Examples like Olympic black power salutes and Panther troops. I saw as I pursued my truth. If racism is a cancer, black thought's the answer. Gotta get up off the back porch, emancipate your mind, get your bodies back from ransom. Come on! And all black hands up for the anthem. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Yo, check this out, man.
Bring that beat back, man. 2, 3, 4, hit it.
People, stronger than this evil. Smashing your power structure, melanin royal regal. System designed to kill and unprotect. Worldwide hit the streets just to get some respect. Our fight and our rights for freedom will never waver. Justice Breonna Taylor, salute Chuck and Flavor. Feel the same anger since Radio Raheem died. Black power to the people, push forward pride.
Fighting power like it's an octo. Born to fight, I made it off the block though. Thought he had a gun and he was black, that's the combo. The police killed George having a convo. They killed Malcolm X, they killed Dr. King. They gave us guns and dope, they wanna stop our kings. Trying to erase our history, stop and think. History class ain't tell us about Juneteenth. Cops don't give a damn about a Negro. Pull a trigger, kill a nigga, he's a key, bro. Us living life on welfare. The last one who cared was Obamacare, round 12. Nose kinda bloody, gotta keep fighting. Trump through the North Korea, they respect violence. If you ain't trying to have your city on fire, put some respect on our name. We come from gold and diamonds.
Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power! We got to fight the powers that be. Elvis was a hero the most, but he never meant to me. You see, straight up racist and sucker was simple and plain. Cause I'm black and I'm proud, I'm ready, I'm hyper, I'm amped. Most of my heroes on a piano stamp. Sample all look like you look and find nothing but Reginald for 400 years if you check.
Don't worry, be happy.
Was a #1 jam. Then if I said you could slap me right here. Get it?
Let's get this party started.
Right on, come on. What we got to say? Power to the people, know the lay. Make everybody see. In order to fight the powers that be.
Good afternoon and welcome to a Wednesday edition of Ask Mathis. I'm your host, Reginald Mathis. And rocking with me is my brother, Wildman Teddy T, a.k.a. Baron the Mountain Builder. What it do?
It's definitely that day, man. It's almost Super Bowl weekend. Everything kicks off tomorrow.
Yes, indeed, man. So I'm going to take the camera off Teddy T quick because all my viewers out there say they can't never hear Teddy and they don't know what he's saying. So I'm going to give y'all less of Teddy.
We don't know what he's saying. What? Huh?
I'm just telling y'all, we keep it raw and real. Here on Ask Mathis, man, coming to you weekdays, Monday through Friday on Strong Arm Radio and on FM 88.7 and Sundays 11 a.m. Video mix. If y'all have DirecTV, y'all make sure y'all check us out. And as always, it is brought to you by X1 Adjusters and Mr. Henry Bean. So if you got any kind of issues going on at the crib, any kind of natural disasters, give Henry a call, man. Give him a call, and they'll come out and give you a free estimate, man. It won't cost you anything to have those folks to come out, man. So this is the Ask Mathis show coming to you Wednesday, and today we're going to bring you a very special guest. We're going to bring you a Mr. Kendall Mozon, man, and he's going to talk about his worldwide travels, and he's going to come to you a little later on in the show. So I look forward to that, man. Every time I see Kendall, man, he and his wife, they always at some luxurious, beautiful place, man, some adventure, and it just makes me proud, just to see, somebody that looks like us, man, that's around here traveling the globe, man, always with a smile on his face. So he's going to come in and give you, his story and his journey and, what led them to where they are right now. And that is living their best life. And that's all we trying to do around here is live our best life and give you a little touch of reality, a little motivation to take you through your day. 786-801-0031. Feel free to give us a call. And, just kidding about my brother Wildman Teddy T, man. It's all good and it's all love, man. And of course, man, on the ones and twos, man, we have none other than DJ Newkirk, man, who's multitasking today. But right now, man, what's in everybody's, mind is that shooting, bro, which was the most deadly shooting, man, of FBI agents. There haven't been any FBI agents killed in the line of duty for 12 whole years, bro. That's a long time when you think about the inherent danger involved with what it is that they do in that line of work. And so it looks like we lost two, really, really dedicated good ones, man. One in particular, Laura Schwarzenberger, Agent Lauren Schwarzenberger, the mother of two, and she was often seen on, local television, advising the community on ways to look out for sexual predators and things going on in the internet. So they're really, really huge when it comes to combating and thwarting child pornography and child sex trafficking rings. So, this young lady, married, two children, and the other agent who passed away was also married with children. They still have not identified the gunman, who apparently was, using Ring or some other monitoring device to, basically they were sitting ducks, and he had a chopper, he had an assault type rifle and was shooting through the door, and they had no chance. They had no chance, man. So, there's going to be lots and lots and lots of questions that continue to come as a result of what happened, because typically there's a high-powered tactical team that typically goes in and not the case agents, because, these particular ones were like high-profile case agents. So Dan Alphen and Laura Schwarzenberger, like I said, she was the one that you would see on television all the time. And then Dan Alphen, he took down the assistant to the Miami-Dade commissioner. Some very high-profile sex trafficking cases that he was, that the two of them were involved in. So to see that they're still out there knocking on doors, serving warrants is kind of, trust me, we have not heard the end of that. So there's going to be some splaining to do, lots of splaining to do as to why these individuals who are more like the detectives, more like the ones who solve the problems, not the ones that go and arrest the perps and arrest the perpetrators. So that's going to be, that's going to be something that, we're going to want to know more about that one, man. Why were they sent, into that harm's way? Was it a matter of resources? Because often, when you find out when things look like they keep going business as usual, and we know we're in a global pandemic and there's no such thing as business as usual, we know that things have a way of falling through the cracks. And I would not be surprised if Laura Schwarzenberger and Agent Dan Alphen, ended up being, falling through one of those cracks as to why they couldn't get the tactical squad out there, who go in, heavily armed, before they go in to serve warrants, man. And, coming at it from, a criminal defense attorney perspective, I'm just letting you know that anytime law enforcement get killed in the line of duty, man, there's a domino effect that will be felt in these streets. I'm just trying to tell you. So, when officers get shot, when law enforcement gets shot, just know that what you think is going to be a typical, disposition of a case is no longer. Just like when those marshals got, killed in the pork and beans serving that warrant, and the person was on probation, and folks were saying, well, why was he out? That's when all of a sudden, they start enforcing in South Florida what's called the, a perpetrator of violent concern, like someone who is of violent concern, and all of a sudden, if you on probation for a serious case, and you pick up, say, a DUI, which on the scheme of things is not that serious. Well, if that person was on probation or got released and had a split sentence with some probation left over, rather than just credit time served or extend the probation because it was just a misdemeanor that was picked up, no, they have to get under the law, under the Florida law, they have to get what is a completion of that felony that they were on probation for. It's called a violent career offender of special concern. And and it's crazy. I remember and it happened literally overnight, right after those agents got killed, serving the warrant. Folks started saying, well, hey, this person was on probation. Why were they out? Then all of a sudden, it was like, enforce the laws that we already have. Like the NRA, gun advocates are always saying, we don't need new laws. We just need to enforce the laws that we already have. And so laws that are on the book, this violent career offender of special concern has been on the books for a long time, but it just wasn't really enforced. So all of a sudden, officers get killed serving a warrant. Now you go in there and you're thinking, oh, this guy was just smoking weed, and they just got picked up for smoking weed, but they on probation for, aggravated assault or armed burglary or, some other case. And you would think, oh, it's just a weed case. Worst scenario, a year. Give him a year worst scenario, give him a year in jail, in the county jail. No, a violent career offender of special concerns means you go back to the original case, the original underlying case that they were on probation for, and the judge has to enter at a minimum, a guideline plea, which means if they score prison, they got to go back to prison. That's what happens. So, do not think that these FBI agents getting killed will not affect or have an impact on everybody. Just know that the officers, Black Lives Matter, everything. When you're talking about, mouthing off to the cops and your rights and freedom of speech and all those other things, now you just basically giving, law enforcement another reason to kill us.
I mean, I think it's interesting to the fact of where it was at. It was out there on McNabb in Oakland Park. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't in the urban, that was in the suburban area for some such high quality, violence like that. You know what I mean? That was the tragic part, that it was out there in the suburban where they don't really, get that type of stuff. So that's the element of the kind of crowd that's, evolving.
I mean, what the guy was, is accused of, and what the warrant that they were serving was, child pornography. So this is somebody that's, allegedly profiting, off of, sex trafficking and child porn. But he know what he was into, and folks are armed. And don't think that the urban area, they got their share of weapons, but the urban area don't got the biggest and the best weapons. The biggest and the best weapons is where this happened. That's where they at. Davie, Weston, you know what I'm saying? Pasadena. They got the biggest and the best weapons, and they all got choppers. So, I mean, I'm not surprised at it at all. But the people who gonna get the brunt of it, in my opinion, are gonna be your regular street level offenders, because now law enforcement has something to point to. See, look what happened. You just think you're serving a routine warrant, and you get taken down. So that goes with the argument that there's no such thing as a routine stop. There's no such thing as a routine traffic stop. So now, what's in the officer's state of mind when somebody end up getting killed for a ticket and they end up not being armed or whatever? They get to say, well, this is what was in my mind. what happened with these two FBI agents. So definitely want to pray for their family, but just know that we're all connected, in a certain way, when it goes to that. So another thing we want to talk about is this House impeachment. So the House impeachment managers served an 80-page, filing yesterday in the Senate, basically outlining, what they're going to do for the case. And, basically it's going to be like watching a Stephen King movie. Anyone that ever read a Stephen King novel that's been converted into a movie, you're going to see that's how the House intends to present the case. They're going to have, a whole bunch of Donald Trump speeches talking about the election being rigged, that the election was stolen, stop the steal, all those things. And then, is going to have him giving his speech, early that morning, where he's basically saying, you got to fight, fight harder. You got to fight like hell, I think is what he, had to say. And they're going to say, that the president told them to go march to the Capitol. And you know what? I'm going to be with you. But his new defense team, he finally got, some lawyers. His lawyers had dropped it because apparently or allegedly he was out there saying that he wanted to be on this whole stop the steal. I won this election by a landslide. And his lawyers was like, look, why you want to go in there talking about that, when they've already given you the high sign. The Republicans in the Senate done already said, they don't think there's no jurisdiction. 45 already said you good. You need 67 to to convict. So this is gonna be a cakewalk. Just come in and just, see what happened, and then just walk up out of there, bruh. And it's crazy how God works, man, because I wasn't even thinking about it. But of course, you know me, Teddy. Yesterday, they had a special on PBS with Emmett Till. And bruh, when I tell you, every time I get to watch something on Emmett Till, I do. And usually it's always something new and different. So I'm watching it, bruh, and I'm seeing the two defendants, the husband of the lady who allegedly was whistled at, who we all know she recanted and said that wasn't the case. But also the store owner, so the lady and her husband owned the store, and I guess he and his homeboy, once they found out apparently that Emmett had walked out of the store and, whistled at her, his cousin who's in the documentary, Emmett Till's cousin who's in the documentary, is basically saying that Emmett, did something, and they was like, boy, you know where you are? But they said Emmett begged him not to tell his dad when he got home. And so they said, 2 days passed, nothing. They never told the dad, but they said, I think it was that Sunday, they went to the crib, and the crib was in Money, Mississippi. So they went to the crib, said it was dark as 1,000 midnights. And so they came in there and they had a 45 revolver in one hand and had a flashlight in the other one. And saying, which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? And, when they finally got to Emmett, the dad, because it was Emmett Till's mother, and it was so regal to see her and to see the strength that she carried. And it started off by just talking about the history. We speak about it here often, about how the black migration in terms of, how did black people end up in large numbers in, say, New York, in Detroit, in Chicago, and Los Angeles. It was all part of what was called a black migration. And so in the black migration, they were talking about in Mississippi in the Delta, which is where this was. Emmett Till's mother had, grown up, well, not grown up, but was born in Mississippi, and her family moved up to Chicago during the Black migration. They moved up to Chicago when the mother was 2 years old. So at some point, the mother decided, that it was time for Emmett. He had turned 14 years old, and when he turned 14 years old, they decided to send him down to visit the relatives down in Mississippi. So they were showing, in this particular documentary, they were showing how the kids dressed in Chicago and what they was on and the freedoms that they were experiencing in Chicago. And Emmett Till didn't know anything about life in the South. His mother was 2 years old when she left. So it wasn't a whole lot that she can tell him about life in the South. But as we typically do, she wanted him to know his country cousins. I want you to go down there and meet your country cousins. So he comes down, and she had given him his father's ring, his father's signature ring. And his father's signature ring, his dad died, Emmett Till's father died in the war, in World War II. And the only thing, that he left him was this ring. And when he turned 14 years old, right before his mom put him on the train to go down to Mississippi, she gave him that ring. And the significance of that ring, he was beaten so bad and his body had decomposed so bad once he was thrown in the river that the ring is what was used to identify Emmett Till's body. And they went through the trial as well. And this is what makes it similar to me with Donald Trump's trial, because it was a foregone conclusion of what was going to happen. It was an all-white male jury from that town. And they said that the town had raised, and this is 1955, the town, before GoFundMe, before the internet, before all of this stuff, the town had raised over $10,000. And they said every criminal defense attorney in town was on this man's case, was on those two gentlemen's case. Like, they looked at it as a badge of honor because, everybody was looking at Mississippi as something. What are y'all doing down there? And look at the body, because if you guys remember where Jet and Ebony Magazine were headquartered, Jet and Ebony Magazine are headquartered in Chicago. And so Emmett Till's mother, 2 weeks after he went missing, when the body was discovered and was sent back to Chicago, they promised, the mortician in Chicago promised not to open up the coffin. And so Emmett Till's mother said, well, give me a hammer. Let me open it up. She opened up the coffin, bro, and said it was a smell, it was a stench that was, an odor that was just so, unbearable. But then the mother said she got the courage, said she didn't look at the body. She didn't look at his face initially. She said she would start with his feet and go all the way up. And so she went from his feet to his legs, and said when she got around his stomach, seeing that, he was still intact, his body was still intact, when she finally looked at him, and she said, you know what, the world needs to see this. And despite so many people begging her not to show the image of Emmett Till, she did. And Ebony ran that picture, man. Ebony ran the picture of Emmett Till's face, bro. And I let my children watch that last night, and they saw that just to see. Still, man, it looks like, bruh, I can't even describe it. If anybody saw the Cher movie where Rocky Dennis was her son, played her son, and how his face, Mask. Well, how his face was just bloated, and they said they shot him after they beat him all night. After they beat him all night, bruh, they shot him in the head, so you could see straight through.
Oh my God!
So you could see straight through his head, and then after that, they put a cotton gin. They tied a cotton gin around his neck, a 75-pound cotton gin around his neck, and tied it around his neck with barbed wire and put it in the Tallahatchie River when it was found. So it was decomposed on top of that, bruh. And so when people saw those images, it just created not just a nationwide outrage, but a worldwide outrage, where people from all over the world was talking about it. But the folks in Mississippi, it was like, oh, it's what happened. Oh, it's y'all. They rallied. The white folks in Mississippi rallied behind those two individuals, basically saying, it's the white way of life, and how dare, witnesses was getting missing. They was going missing, and the folks who ended up testifying in that trial, who had seen like some of the blood on the truck, who had witnessed certain things, and then they came around and was asked, by the sheriff, and guess how the sheriff would greet, the people in the segregated courtroom. They had a congressman, they had a black congressman who was there observing the trial, as well as all the black journalists. They were forced to sit in the back on one little card table in the courtroom, and said the sheriff would come into court every day and say, "Good morning, niggers." That's how the sheriff, bro, law enforcement, that's how law enforcement greeted them every morning as they watched this trial. And then when you see the two individuals accused of murdering and killing Emmett Till got acquitted in less than an hour. The jury took less than an hour, and they said they would have come back sooner than that, but they stopped to get drinks because the courtroom was over 112 degrees in the courtroom. So they stopped to get some drinks. So I look at that as far as the similarity with this trial, where there's a foregone conclusion. Like, what the result of the trial was going to be. And what's crazy, Teddy T, is after they was acquitted, the two men sold their story to an author for $4,000 and admitted to the killing, admitted to the whole thing, bruh, and got paid for it. And you say, well, how can they do that now? Because murder, isn't it? Can you go federally on that? The president at the time, Eisenhower, said no, and J. Edgar Hoover said no. And guess what you didn't have at that time? You did not have the Civil Rights Act of 1964, 1965, which created things like 1981 and 1983 actions, where the conduct of that sheriff, they could all be held accountable. But it all started the domino effect, because the Montgomery bus boycott came after that. Like, we're talking about within a year of Rosa Parks seeing that. Emmett Till spawned all of that, spawned the civil rights movement. And having said that, the equivalent of this trial is we already know that Trump is going to be acquitted, but I think it's important for the facts to get out there so that, we can shake some more people from this cult. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest coming to you guys. We have another guy from Exit 36. Exit 36, I like to say that, man, because he went from Pompano to Pluto. Ooh. Literally, this brother, and his wife, man, they travel, all over the world. And Ask Mathis, let's give a great warm round of applause for Mr. Kendall Mozone. Welcome to Ask Mathis, my brother.
What's up, Teddy T?
Welcome to the Ask Mathis, my brother. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Turn your volume up. Turn your volume up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, but can y'all give more volume? All right, yeah, we hear you. We just gonna get your volume up a little bit more. First off, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm at home, because of the COVID and everything, just trying to stay healthy.
Okay, that's what it is, man. So tell us a little bit about your journey, man. How did you get from Exit 36, man, to, just hitting us with all these images, man, and Maldives and Dubai? I don't think there's a spot you've been to. I think you may have been to more spots than me, bro.
About 59 countries. I don't know about you, but I'm at about 59 right now.
What number passport you on?
Oh man, I went through about 8 or 9 passports.
Ooh, no, you got me, bro. You got me. I'm on my fourth. You got me, bro. So tell us how you got into that.
Well, back in 2000, what was it, 2006, I married my wife, and we went on our honeymoon. And then as we were on our honeymoon, we said, you know what, let's not make this the last. We're going to travel every year. And then once a year turned to 2 times a year, 2 times a year turned to 3 times a year. And then it just kept building and building and building till we just said, we're just going to keep traveling the world and see what we can see. We on a plan called A Road to 100. If we can try to get 100 countries before we retire, that's what we're going to try to do.
Wow, wow. So were you able to profit off of your travels, or is it leisure?
It's leisure, but at the same time, there's a lot of ways to save on travel. It's really not that expensive.
Okay.
What's what I want to say, like flight comparisons. If you fly from here to California, you're looking at an average ticket of about $600. You could go to Paris for $600.
Mm.
So you got an option. Do I go to California, stay in the United States for $600, or should I just, me and the wife, go to Paris for the weekend for $600?
Wow. So you doing it like that, bro? You doing it like that? So tell our people, man. Like, to get. I'm sure you had to build up to it. You had to build up to what you're doing now. So give our audience out there some pointers in terms of what they can do, how they can budget, how they can save, and certain things, certain resources that you can direct them to.
I mean, what's the thing that you spend a lot of money on? Most people will spend about $10 a day on lunch. That's a low number. Most people spend about $20 a day on lunch. Mm-hmm. But let's do the math. If you spend $10 a day on lunch for 5 days, everybody work about 5 days a week, right? You have $50 that you spent for that week. Now, if you spend $50 a week, there's 52 weeks in a year. So right there, you spent $2,600 just on food.
That's a round trip to Paris.
Say that again?
That's a round trip ticket to Paris.
That's 2 round trip tickets for you and your wife. So that's $1,200, and you still got $1,400 left over. So now you get your hotel and you get your food. So you got a whole trip for the money that you sacrificed for lunch, for going to work.
Right. So tell me this, bros, because I see you always with with your wife, man, and y'all, I saw y'all scuba diving, man. I see y'all doing all this other stuff. So, how do you start getting into those things?
I mean, I'm an adventurous person. I'll try anything once, and if I like it, then I'll follow up on it. Growing up in South Florida, we used to ride our bikes over down to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
We'll park up at the pier, throw our bikes there, and then get to the beach and just start swimming. In our neighborhood, we had Westside Park. We had a pool over there. So I learned how to swim at Westside Park. Then I went to the beach to swim, and then I said, you know what? I started snorkeling, and I said, I want to do what the other culture's doing. They're going scuba diving. So let me try that. I tried it. I liked it. And now me and my wife go around the world scuba diving because of things that we haven't seen growing up as kids, that we haven't been introduced, but others have been introduced. So I said, well, let me try some of the other things. And as you try some of the other things, you find out that, hey, you actually like it, and you can actually afford to do it.
All right, so tell us, I'm curious about this Maldives, man. Tell us about the Maldives.
Okay, so the Maldives is an expensive trip. You're gonna have to save your coins for the Maldives. A lot of places are a la carte. Some places are all inclusive. We went to the Conrad, and the Conrad is a la carte. So you're gonna probably drop about 30 stacks or more, to have a good time in the Maldives.
30,000?
30,000.
Bro, you can't be talking about saving $10 a day and then get them up to 30 stacks. No, man, you can't.
Big difference.
But listen, you're talking about 15 years of planning and preparation.
Right. Okay, so I went all the way. Okay, so we gotta start off with Disney World. Spin a stack first. No, bro.
Yeah. So that's 15 years of preparation. I mean, you got to remember, we started in the Caribbean first. And that's another thing I tell people. I said, listen, if you're going to start traveling, and the most economical way to travel, especially living here in South Florida, is cruising. Most 4 day cruises run you about $300 to $400 per person. 7 day cruises run anywhere between $700 to $800 per person. That includes everything. That's your hotel, because that's your room on the ship. That's your entertainment, because you get to go to Broadway shows depending on the ship that you go on. They have good shows, comedy shows. That's all your food, all you can eat. You're talking about your transportation to and from all ports and destinations that you want to go to. So for that price, cruising is like the most economical place to start your travel journeys, because you can see a lot of countries for very, very cheap. And then if you like those countries after you travel, you can hit them back on a personal trip.
Okay, I saw something also, man, about Italy and about some places in Italy that, they offering like free accommodations just to get tourists back there. You familiar with any of those sites?
Yeah, a lot right now, all hotel prices are going down, flights are going down because of the coronavirus. So the travel industry, the tourism industry took a big hit because of coronavirus. So a lot of people offering hotel packages, flight packages, combination packages for like 30-45% cheaper than what they normally do. So right now, that Maldives trip may be what you want to start looking at now, because I guarantee you those prices will be less than what they were before.
Okay. And in terms of, where can you go where English is not your first language that you're going to feel pretty comfortable with going? And what's some of the places that if you don't speak the language, you don't recommend going?
Mostly Spanish-speaking countries. If you don't speak Spanish, you're gonna have some problems. You won't have problems at the hotels. You won't have problems at the airport. But in the city, if you're not speaking Spanish, you may have some problems, because a lot of people aren't nice, and some people just don't speak English. They just speak their native tongue. So I recommend, if you're going to start traveling, stick with some of your European countries, your African countries. I would say about 80% of the African countries, you got nothing to worry about, because they speak English. So your European countries, your African countries, all your Caribbean countries, you can hit them up. Your brothers up north in Canada, you can go hit them up, so you won't have any problems there.
What
and
about
then later,
tour guides?
maybe take a French class or a Spanish class and go to Paris, or go to Spain, or some of the other Spanish or French countries.
What about tour guides and hiring interpreters or translators for the day?
That's the best. Online, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter. Some of the best things you can do is prepare your trip before you go. Hire a driver, hire a tour guide that they speak English. You can send them an itinerary of all the things that you want to do. They'll send you an email back or call you back on WhatsApp and tell you, okay, we can do this, 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 and this. Once you got your itinerary done, you can even schedule for them to pick you up at the airport. So you've hired that guy pretty much for the entire time that you're there. And it works out a lot cheaper than you doing it yourself, trying to go here, because you got to catch Uber, you got to catch a bus, you got to catch a train. Now you got to wait in line, but your tour guide will have everything covered for you. You have to worry about your transportation. He or she may pre-purchase all your tickets to some of the museums or some of the places that you're going to go. So it will save you a lot of time, money, and effort. And you can see more with that tour guide than you can on your own, trying to save money, but you're really going to spend more time and spend more money.
That's what it is. And so, what advice, would you like to leave for our audience, man? Either to contact you about, certain destinations that you've gone that, you may be able to, provide, a little information about, or certain trips that you intend to go in the future. Do you welcome, traveling people to come with you, or you just like to rock with you and your wife?
Yeah, I mean, you can always hit me up on Instagram at Kendall's Travel Life. Also, YouTube, Kendall's Travel Life, and Facebook, Kendall's Travel Life. You can leave a message, DM me with any questions that you may have. I'll be happy to answer. We tried in the past planning trips with friends and family, but it really don't work out. You got 100 people that want to go when you say when you send the email out or the text message out, we're gonna go here. Yay, I want to go. But when the money come out and the money time to pay,
where the money reside? Where the money reside?
I got you next week.
Where the money reside?
But that always happens. It's always at the end. But we have a few people that we do travel with occasionally, and they're close friends and some family members. And you'll see sometimes on our pictures we do show them that they did come on the trip. But a lot of people in America don't take vacations either. Back in 2019, they said about 768 million Americans did not utilize their PTO, their personal time off. It gave it back to the company. You just gave that company more money.
That's me. I'm definitely guilty.
That company paid you to go on vacation and you didn't take your vacation, so you gave the money back to the company.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that. I travel a lot and I go a lot of places, but it's work, and I rarely, just go and do something for myself. So, I'm definitely, I'm listening.
I got something for you, Reggie. You travel for business a lot. Listen, this is what you can do. Stay an extra 2 days on your own dime.
That's what I do. That's what I typically do. So that's what I typically do. Like we went to India, and my wife is her family's from India and Pakistan. So we were 10 hours from the Taj Mahal, where we were, because we were in Mumbai. But the Taj Mahal is way out. It had to catch a 6-hour flight and then a 4-hour drive. So, we stayed extra so that we could, go and experience that. So, yeah, I do that from time to time. I feel you and I hear you, man. So we also, man, before we let you get out of here, man, we got to clear some stuff up, man. I need to know, I got my homeboy who was on the championship Pompano Tigers, football team. That we went undefeated, but we lost the Super Bowl, but we still got the trophy. And we still got the trophy. And I just wanted to know, how do you still remember that day? Do you still remember that time? And what did your coach and what did your teammates say to y'all about that day, about winning the Super Bowl but not getting the Super Bowl trophies?
Man, I can't even remember that far back. Boy.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad. You know what? Sometimes I just been carrying that around with me for a long time, because we beat y'all twice during the year, but somehow y'all got to play us again in the Super Bowl, and y'all beat us in the Super Bowl. But I don't know why, but they still gave us the championship trophies. But I'm glad I don't have to carry that no more, because you done let it go. So if you let it go, I can let it go.
Hey, but I used to get you in that foosball at the boys club.
Oh,
though.
come
Don't
on,
forget
bro.
about
You already
that.
know. He's dreaming. You dreaming. And you still dreaming. You still dreaming, bro. We can, anytime. We'll appreciate you, my brother. Give my best to your wife, man. Thank you for coming on. That's Kendall Mazon, Kendall's Travel Life. Y'all make sure y'all follow him, man. Just to let you know that, it's not where you start, it's where you finish, and you can, view the world, man. Don't let anybody tell you what you cannot do. And this is an example, of a brother what Exit 36 can produce. And he's all around the world, man, doing big things, man. Appreciate you. Bless.
Mr. International, baby. You have a good one, man.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right.
Yeah, man. So that's Mr. Kendall Mozone, man. Another, one of Pompano's finest, man, out of there. You'd be surprised how many folks, come out of that place, man. It's a proud place, man. It's a proud place that we have.
There's a lot of great people in Pompano.
Yeah, man.
My first apartment was in Pompano.
Yeah. Guys to know that, man. So, getting back on this politics, bruh. I'm definitely of the mind that, I believe in truth and reconciliation. And of course, Trump, they're gonna say, man, just leave the man alone. He's out of office. He's back where he is. But look how many people are out there that's trying to, fill his shoes. You got the lady Green, you see that she's talking like Trump now, that she's defiant. She's going around, man, and she's saying, Sandy Hook didn't happen. She's saying Marjorie Stoneman Douglas didn't happen.
What's wrong with this lady?
Bruh, that's what I'm saying. She's
She
saying
running-
it was
what's her
all
name, Kim?
staged. They're saying 9/11 didn't happen. She's, running around.
How old is she?
Taking pictures, 40s probably. She's around here
That's
taking
just
pictures.
conspiracy. She's adding on what conspiracies are already saying, and
What's her crazy name again?
and these guys are just painting.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think. something
Yeah.
like that.
These guys are just, it's propaganda once again. And, now since Trump has started this type of rhetoric, now these people are following, which is going to be a part of what is going to become his party.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute to get, over, what's going on, bro. We get a little bit of it here in Florida, man, with our governor, bro, Governor DeSantis. In terms of what we got to deal with, down here. As far as the, like people are. The truth should be the truth. There should not be two sides of the truth. The truth is the truth. But everything, when alternative facts, bro, when they came up with alternative facts,
and fake news.
it's like, what are you talking about? But that's what it is. Alternative facts, which is, well, you say tomato, I say tomato. It's like, no, bruh, that's dangerous what you're doing. And if you start to see some of the QAnon, the former QAnon people who are coming on to CNN and giving interviews now saying, because some of them, after inauguration, once Biden was inaugurated, some of them just was like, oh, you lied to me.
Yeah.
I'm done. That's all I needed. But you got others that still, went on to something else. But when you hear them and they talk, like one guy said, man, I got to apologize to you, Anderson Cooper.
I was just about to talk
because, I thought you, was drinking the blood of babies.
Yeah.
That y'all was, killing babies. Like, y'all got a cult somewhere. Like, somebody get off work. You've been on work all day. It's like, got to get to the meeting. Got to get to the meeting. Right. They better have it prepared for me.
Yeah.
Like Briscoe album release party the other day. You walk in there, you got some Jamaican patties on it. You know what I mean? You got the whole spread out there. You got your baby. Make sure it's a fresh baby. Make sure, like, bruh, we got the folks out there because, going back to religion versus spirituality. When folks start saying, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious, and use that as an excuse not to believe in anything or not to do anything, not to be active, just to be like, I treat everybody right and, do this and do that or whatever. But in times like the ones that we're going through right now, where there's so many people who are isolated, so many people who are lonely, and when you don't have that community, that church community or whoever it is behind, folks are going to find it. The same way with gangs. You'll see, a lot of the same characteristics that you find in gang members, you find in the military, you find in fraternities, you find in sororities, you find in things. It's like you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. But people are naturally social, and people are going to want to be around other people
Like-minded
to make them feel better.
Yes. I mean, what they're doing, they're exposing these different things that are happening with the wrong people. That's all, because, yes, somewhere there are people that are drinking blood and doing things, and these are the esoteric, occult people that are a part of these dark practices, and these are different elements of what they call secret societies, from Freemasonry to all these different elements that's always, been at the realm, So these people, they, like I told you guys with Trump, with the Egyptian god Kek when he was the turtle, you know what I'm saying? All these different elements, they're using our different elements of culture, and they tell us, no, don't look at that. This is bad. This is this, but that's what they study,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, this isolationism, one thing I will agree with Trump is what he was saying. He was like, hey, with all these quarantining and all this staying inside, you're going to contribute to, the isolationism and people, getting radicalized, on the internet. And that's what's happening. And want to give a big shout out to Emilio Jean Luis. He is a financial literacy credit restoration services. He helps establish excellent credit to gain their buying power back. He's trying to help as many people as possible in our community. So y'all give a shout out to Emilio Jean Luis. Appreciate you tuning in. And as always, y'all know Ask Mathis is brought to you by X1 Adjusters and Henry Bean, man. Y'all make sure y'all check them out. You got any kind of issues going on with the crib, natural disasters, that tree fall into the, into the crib, or, too much rain, you flood it, give Henry a call. X1 Adjusters will come out and give you that free estimate. And before we get up out of here, man, I definitely want to give a shout out to my brother Scott, man, listening all the way over in Switzerland. Appreciate you. My brother KP and ATL as always. My brother Kearney, man, hitting us up. Another Exit 36 alum, Boys Club alum, Westside Park. Shout out Westside Park, man. A lot of us, got some of our first swimming, in there. But man, I want to say a little word about Publix, man. Publix. So Publix, man, is information that's coming out that Publix, the heiress of Publix paid, $300,000 to bring, those people to D.C. January 6th. So you got some folks saying, should we boycott Publix because of their politics, and not only that, but Publix paid the Political Action Committee, the PAC of our governor, Ron DeSantis, and guess who is the exclusive distributor of the vaccine in West Palm Beach? Publix. Now, doesn't that,
They got paid.
what are QAnon people for that? Like, this quid pro quo, you pay into this, and now all of a sudden, like, you getting the vaccine before the hospitals get the vaccine? Man, come on, bruh. Like, the
Walmart
hypocrisy that we dealing with, man, is just crazy.
Walmart's about to do it too.
Yeah, well,
Walmart's getting it.
they about to pay the bread, or they just gonna get it? Because Publix paid the bread.
Oh yeah, Walmart's
got it first.
definitely gonna pay it.
They paid $200,000. They paid $200,000. So, when you go in there and you get that chicken or you get that steak for the grill, go in there and get your shot. Go and get your vaccine, man. Get it all in one place. It's all good. And it also looks like that they are going to pass this $1.9 trillion COVID relief package through reconciliation. But, shout out to President Biden. We about to see whether or not he's going to be a great president, a mediocre president, or a bad president. We about to see these moves coming up in the next week or so. Because for all the stuff that was going on, Sleepy Joe was in the basement. Because at the press conference, his press secretary was asked, I thought, a very simple question, which is, so what's up with Space Force? Right? Like, what's up with Space Force? Are we gonna keep Space Force? A whole military branch that Trump came up with? Or are we gonna, or not? Or no? We gonna keep Space Force or no? You know what I mean? And they was a little unprepared for that.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
So I'm a little, I'm like, But we about to see whether or not he wants to be great or not. And that is, if they bring down a little bit of this package to, target the folks that need the money. you know, that's what I'm all in favor of, man. And like I said, me and the wife got into it yesterday morning because I said, you know what, there's nothing that comes for free. I said, you know, of course, if I get another $1,400, you know what I mean? I'ma spend it. If
Nothing comes for free.
I get another 14. You send me 1,400. You send me 1,400.
I'ma go
You know
ahead.
what I'm saying? I'm gonna
normally
go
don't do
ahead.
this.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it. I'm going to put it in the economy. I'm gonna put it back in the economy. I'm gonna, you know, get a few steaks and, you know, be in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, toast to you, Joe. Toast to you, Joe. But at the same time, if you ask me, it's like, bruh, do I need another $1,400? I'm gonna tell you no, bruh. If I'm being honest, and that's what we try to do on Ask Mathis, we try to be 1,000 and be like, nah, I don't need it. Other people need it more than me.
You're not like a lot of these brothers and sisters out here, or some of these other people out here that
Understood.
want to just get that money.
But understand, that is what the Republicans, the 10 Republicans who was saying that they have an alternative to the proposal, is saying that, look, we down to give up more money, more stimulus money directly to the people, but it should go to people that individual earning $50,000 or family earning $100,000 or less. And there's some wiggle room to negotiate, you know, going up. But Joe Biden's plan is to get a check to people making up to $300,000. So the people that's making $300,000 who ain't missed no checks, bro.
They
Do you
don't
know
need
we
that.
got people in this economy right now who have not missed a single check, who in fact have made money, who have made money. Janae Aoko, the artist, just signed 3 deals.
Dang.
3 huge deals during the pandemic. It's money out there. So the thing is, the money from the government, taxpayer money, needs to go to the people who need it, bruh.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
needs to go to artists who aren't working. Needs to go to band, to musicians who aren't touring. Needs to go to club owners who willing to go out there and risk going to jail because they can't open up and folks not giving them money. Like, it should be more targeted. You know, that's all I'm saying. It needs to be more targeted, in my opinion. But, you know, as with all things, as my brother says,
How much
follow
was the first?
the money.
How much was the first bill?
The one that Trump just signed before he left was $900 billion.
Yeah, but the first one before that one.
No, they've already done almost $3 trillion because they did 2.
They did 2 last
When
time.
we got the first checks, and then they came back with another one and re-upped on the PPP, the payroll protection, and the folks running around here that's going to jail, that's in the NFL, getting millions of dollars, or in the entertainment business, getting millions of dollars on some fraud, but folks who running legitimate business getting a couple stacks. Like I was watching on the news last week, this man who applied for a PPP loan for $7,500 was denied, and somebody applied for a PPP loan in his name and got $20,000. And got $20,000, and then they sent him the bill. So he went to Help Me Howard.
Oh, man.
They sent him the bill, and he went to Help Me Howard saying, look, I applied for $7,500. Y'all denied me for my restaurant. Somebody applied under me, under my name, and got $20,000 that I never saw, and now y'all sending me the bill talking about these payments is due in August of 2021. Man, this the government. You know, I got to give it to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan says, you know, there's no such thing as when the government knocks on the door and says, you know, hello, we're the government and we are the problem. You know, we're the solution. Like, government is usually not the solution. When the government is involved, you know, it's usually
something bad.
It's something bad, and it just don't work right. You know, it just don't work right. So we really need, like Teddy was saying, we need the guys from Tesla. We need the Elon Musk. We need the guy that's, you know, the billionaire they going, Whitey's on the moon. They going, you know, buying trips. They buying trips to go out of space. They buying trips to go out of space, bro. And folks running around here, you know, on the moon. You know, so I appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. And again, X1 Adjusters, Henry Bean. Appreciate Kendall Mozone, Kendall's Travel Life, man, for blessing us today. Hopefully y'all got something out of that. You know, if you're not doing anything else, you got to live each day like it's your last, because it very well could be. Shout out, rest in peace to my brother Ron Lang. Ron Lang, who wrote all about the Benjamins, bruh. And, you know, is right here as a former firefighter, you know, in Hollandale, bruh. Done a lot of work with Jamie Foxx, man. Passed away a few days ago, bruh. You just never, ever, ever, ever know. You know, so we definitely
We also got
send our condolences.
Wayne Toomer. He brought out Raptini on Ice was his sister. I'm Coming Out, had one of the first clubs in Broward, T2000. He died in a car crash over the weekend as well. So,
you know, may they all rest in peace, bro. And we up out of here, Teddy. How we going? Thank you, Teddy T and DJ Newkirk.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
y'all.
WSAR. Strong Army. Let's turn it up. Legs of the hottest hip hop and R&B.
Stay with me when there's no one else to call. If you got me, then I'm in it for the both of us. Stay with me when there's no one else to call. If you got me, then I'm in it for.
Hey, do you love me like you say you love me? Hey, do you vow to keep it cute when everything it ugly? Hey, if I ever leave, girl, would you come looking for me? Racing like a derby, I put her in Kentucky. I'm talking Louis.